Okay, let's do it. So, as I said yesterday, I will do a spoiler thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine, and that'll include cameos. But before that, I'll talk about the stuff that's spoilers also. Um, so like I said, the moment the movie starts, I got chills, laughs, and excitement because it begins with Deadpool walking through a snow, and he literally tries to bring back Logan from his grave, except he finds his skeleton and plays around with it. And when the TVA arrives, he uses his bone as a weapon, which is kinda messed up. But whatever, it's Deadpool. He doesn't care. Um, and that scene will later continue later in the movie because it's from a later scene because the movie story begins and when Deadpool was messing around with about the worlds, and then he celebrates his birthday party, which was interrupted by the TVA and Paradox, who sends Deadpool to join to try to become a hero for his moment to shine. And then Deadpool decides to find different versions of Wolverine, which I'll get into in a minute because it's very funny. And he finds the Wolverine we get to know in the movie, which has been considered as the absolute worst Wolverine, the Wolverine who let down his entire world because of the horrible thing he has done to the world and the X-Men. And then after escaping the TVA, Deadpool and Wolverine get trapped into a different world, kind of like Loki was in episode 5, where the Alaroth is about to destroy them and the world that they are on. But they go meet up with Cassandra Nova, and they have a villainous conversation with Deadpool and Wolverine. And then later they escape, in which Deadpool meets up with Dogpool, through which throughout the movie he goes like, Dogpool, come here. Even though he is the pet of one of the other Deadpool variants, Nicepool, who kind of looks like Tommy Oliver for me, and because of the long hair and the face, which is normal Ryan Reynolds' face. So it's interesting to see normal face Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. But he is the variant that shows up the most in this movie. And then later, Deadpool and Wolverine have a interesting conversation to one another, and to which they go to a very brutal car fight sequence. They already fought and when they entered the other world, which was also brutal, but this one gets even more bloodier because Wolverine slices Deadpool a lot, especially when the fight ends. He goes like shing, shing, and blood is coming out of the back of the car. Like, Jesus Louise, this movie deserves the R rating. And also the language as well. And then later, Deadpool and Wolverine gets the help, teams up with other characters that I will mention later in the movie, in the review. And they all team up to fight Cassandra Nova and his army of mutants, Pyro, Juggernaut, and Lady Deathstrike. And it's cool to see Juggernaut. But if you're wondering, no, he doesn't say, I'm the Juggernaut! He never says that in the movie, unfortunately. And his height is a little smaller than how he was in Last Stand. Maybe it's just me. I actually thought Pyro was okay. I really wish they used more of his abilities more, since it was his first time in his comic accurate costume and without the involvement of Iceman. I wish he was more usable in this movie, because he's probably the most prominent mutant villain to return in this movie. Because Sabretooth gets killed off quickly after his introduction, and Toad gets a few scenes there and there until he gets killed off too. And then, after Cassandra Nova threatens Wolverine by telling him about his past, which was kind of an emotional scene in the movie. But then after Cassandra was going to die because of Juggernaut's helmet, Cassandra Nova escapes with Doctor Strange's magic, and they go to a different world where Deadpool and Wolverine, the first thing they do is brutally attack all the Deadpool variants that also gruesomely killed Nicepool, which I did not expect. It did make me laugh because Deadpool Prime was using Nicepool like a shield, and he can't regenerate, and because of that he dies, and because his face blown off and never regenerates it. Yeah, that was dark. And then when the Like a Prayer song starts, and then Wolverine puts on his mask on, it's showtime. By Deadpool and Wolverine gruesomely attacking all the Deadpool variants, which I did not expect. I thought it would be a team up, but whatever. It would have been a bit too much, and the final battle would not have been the same if the Deadpool variants came along to fight alongside him. But that fight scene with the Deadpool variants was very brutal, especially when you in that train sequence. There's a lot of blood splurting out over the windows. Like, this movie does not hold its punches. Neither the movie nor Marvel Studios or Disney. Yikes. And then Cassandra Nova was about to unleash more power, but Deadpool and Wolverine were deciding on who should save the world, and Deadpool decided it should be him. But he was almost not close to do it. But Wolverine teams up with him, and they both save the world and kill Cassandra Nova, and everything is okay. And Deadpool and Wolverine become best friends. So that's pretty much the whole plot of the movie, and it was a very fun, entertaining superhero comedy about Deadpool and Wolverine going through the multiverse and interacting with several different characters. But of course, you know why you're here. Cameos. The first cameo in this movie started out earlier in the movie, which I briefly kind of referred to at first, but he went after the ending of Deadpool 2, he went to Earth 616, where he talks to none other than Happy Hogan from Iron Man movies and Spider-Man movies and Avengers Endgame and What If. And and Wade and Happy Hogan had a funny conversation together where Wade wants to be an Avenger because he needs to, but Happy Hogan it's not biased about it, saying that Avengers are Avengers because the world need them. And Then also, it was interesting that Wolverine in the movie was talking about the Avengers, which makes me wonder if his universe has the Avengers. Interesting. But yeah, like I said, Happy Hogan has a funny cameo in the movie. Honestly, he was an interesting addition. I don't understand why he was the one chosen, but it was cool. But like I said, with the Wolverine, Deadpool goes around the different worlds to see the perfect Wolverine to team up with. And until the last one he went to and ultimately team up with, every Wolverine was super vicious and brutally was attacking Wolverine. And there was one short Wolverine, which was more accurate to what his size of Wolverine is. And the funniest one that I did not see coming, but it was Henry Cavill as Wolverine. My brother pointed it out, and I was like, what? But that's awesome that Superman is Wolverine. Missed opportunity, Daniel Radcliffe. Missed opportunity for you to cameo in this, but interesting addition. Superman plays Wolverine, or plays a Wolverine in the movie. And he's pretty much like wearing the X-Men Origins type of outfit that he wore, like the white clothing and the blue jeans. That was very funny. Did not see that coming. But now we'll get to the big boys. The big cameos in this. The first one started out after Deadpool and Wolverine fight. This weird blue hooded man interact with him. And right from when his mouth was talking, I knew that voice was Chris Evans. However, in just a few minutes, I didn't know which character Chris Evans would play until before he said Flame On, I knew it right away it was Johnny Storm. And I was correct. Chris Evans is back as Johnny Storm! That was awesome. And was very hilarious because the amount of talking they had between Deadpool and Wolverine and Human Torch did get me a big laugh out of me in the theater. And it was cool to see that Chris Evans, not only back in the MCU, but also reprising his superhero role before Captain America. But also I'm not sure if this is the exact same one, because the costume, if you'll notice, is a little different from the one from the Tim Story movies. But yeah, it was a very funny, amazing cameo. Though he really met a brutal and disgusting end, which did give me a scare. And the post-credit scene of his dialogue is hilarious. Yeah, that was the number one I was talking about. The number one that I thought was funny and awesome. And the next cameo happens right after Deadpool and Wolverine kick each other's butt at the car. Deadpool and Wolverine wake up from a different place when Deadpool was about to leave, none other than Jennifer Garner Elektra shows up and fights him for a while. Now, of course, Jennifer Garner was already revealed to be part of the movie, so I was fully expecting her to be in it, but when she shows up, I was happy. And she had a very fun appearance in the movie. But the biggest cameo of all time was one that I did not see coming at all. And this was the second one I'm talking about. One that I did not see coming at all, but I don't care because I love it. Wesley Snipes shows up as Blade. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Wesley Snipes, after 20 years, returns to his most iconic role as Blade. I did not see that coming because I thought they were just going to use Fox cameos since Blade was New Line Cinema, but the fact they included Blade was awesome. And I honestly think it much cooler since they included Toby, since we already saw Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Patrick Stewart, and Kelsey Grammer in the MCU. So it's cool that they're still bringing back more older actors, and Wesley Snipes, I think, is one that they were so smart with not missing, because Blade is this think we can all agree that Blade, X-Men, and Spider-Man, the 2002 one with Tobey, are the 3 Marvel movies that Hollywood decided to make comic book movies before the MCU. And to have Blade in it makes it awesome. And Wesley Snipes still has not given up on the character. I have only seen the first one. I really enjoyed it. Not seen the second one or third one, but I will very soon this month in October. But yeah, Wesley Snipes as Blade is amazing. Though honestly, it made me less excited about Mahershala Ali as Blade, because we already have Blade in the MCU, Wesley Snipes. Though he already Ali cameo in Eternals. But, and the third cameo that happens the same time was the one that I said was awesome and also cute. Was Channing Tatum as Gambit and this 100% accurate costume from the source material and Kanjun accent. And he was awesome because not only because of his quirky personality, but also his funny moves and power abilities, which also gets really gruesome because when he throws cars at the bad guys, he blows them off. Ew. And the reason I say it was cute because similar to the reason why Nicolas Cage was Superman in Teen Titans Go and The Flash, was because Channing Tatum was going to play Gambit in the Gambit movie, but that never came through. And Channing Tatum became depressed about it. And now that he returns he finally gets the chance to play Gambit in Deadpool Wolverine, I'm sure he's crying of happiness and joy when he got the role. And I'm wondering what he's going to say when he does interviews talking about this, because I'm so proud of him, and I want to see more of him in it. More of Gambit as Channing Tatum as Gambit, though I doubt we will. So this is the last one. I'm happy for Channing Tatum that his dream has come true. And he had a fun presence, like I said. And the best thing about Elektra, Blade, and Gambit is that they're not just cameos that just appear for a while and just no longer appear in the movie. They actually kind of play a supporting part in the movie because they kind of help Deadpool and Wolverine find Cassandra Nova, and they fight all the other mutants, every single one of them, until the... Oh wait, I forgot also Laura as X-23, who's like pretty much leads the Elektra, Blade, and Gambit. And honestly, she was okay. Maybe because she was spoiled in the final trailer. It would have been better if she was not in the trailer, because it would have been much cooler, because I didn't recognize her at first, but when she showed up, it was cool. It would have made much more better, because I would have been like, oh, Laura's here, that's cool. But I just went like, oh, Laura, that's cool. And she has a decent moment with Wolverine about how he's having a hard time, because of what he's been going through and throughout his past, and with Deadpool also. And she was the only person that went with Deadpool's friends at the end of it, even though she sort of died by the hands of Alaroth. I don't know, that feels weird. That Laura gets a free pass, but not Elektra, Blade, or Gambit. But they had a very cool action sequence where Deadpool, Wolverine, Elektra, Gambit, and Blade, and Laura having a fun action sequence fighting every single evil mutant. It was phenomenal. Yeah, this movie, and I think they used the cameos what they could have done. It made me sad no Ben Affleck, or even a single Punisher, or even Nick Cage's Ghost Rider, which would have been very funny. But unfortunately, I can understand, because would have been too much. And honestly, this was probably better than Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness uses of the Illuminati, because other than the incursion situation that has a big plot of the movie, they were not utilized that much because they got killed off. But they utilized Elektra, Gambit, and Blade and Deadpool and Wolverine a lot more, which is very awesome to see. So, yeah. So, like I said, Johnny Storm, Blade, and Gambit are my favorite cameos in Deadpool and Wolverine, because of how they, not only because I was shocked them to appear, but also how they treated the characters in the movie with good respect to the characters. And yeah. So, also, by the way, everybody, Taylor Swift is not in the movie, unfortunately. And also, we don't know who is Lady Deadpool unless we do a research of who the actress is, which I have not done yet. And some of the Deadpool variants were funny, like the Kid Pool, where he still also swears, was funny. And I like seeing Deadpool 2099 because I remember seeing her in the Blake Swinger box opening of Marvel's bags. It also made me unfortunate that there's no X-Force Deadpool variant, Ultimate Deadpool, or even Gwenpool. And most of them are just basically regular Deadpool. And I really thought like the whole Peter Pool joke was funny, where he pretty much is like the most important figure in Deadpool, because every Deadpool variant go close to him and kind of celebrate with him or something like that. And I think, and the lady from Loki, with not Ravonna, the other one, kind of likes Peter Pool. And yeah, and like I said in the spoiler-free review, I really like the the credit sequence, which shows behind-the-scene footage of the X-Men and 20th Century Fox movies, because I thought that was cute for them to pay tribute to not only 20th Century Fox's Marvel era, but also how much this movie is kind of says goodbye to 20th Century Fox's Marvel universe. I thought that was cute. So yeah, really love Deadpool and Wolverine. It's phenomenal. I really loved it. You should go check it out. Yeah, so let me know in the comments below of what you think of my spoiler review of Deadpool and Wolverine and all the cameos explained. So let me know in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Peace out. Bye.